Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Pat Sadak, and I am a member of the Winnipeg Police Service, and I work in the Public Information Office, and I have one item for you today. But before we do that, I would like to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. The reason I brought you here all here today is recently the Winnipeg Police Service's Drug Enforcement Unit became aware of a drug trafficking event in the West Broadway neighborhood. As a result of the investigation, a man and a woman were arrested. A search revealed 38 grams of fentanyl, and they were able to do a search warrant later on, which produced 134 grams of fentanyl. And just to note that this is the biggest seizure of fentanyl that this unit has been able to get as of the date. A 39-year-old man and a 25-year-old female are facing multiple trafficking charges, weapons, and firearm-related offenses. Both were released on undertakings. Why I really want to bring everybody here today is because I want to make sure that the public is really aware of the potential danger that this drug trafficking produced. As you can see on the through the revolving images to my left here, a lot of these this drug-related material has been molded into different enticing shapes, such as dinosaurs, stars, butterflies, and other designer-looking shapes. This could be very enticing to a lot of people, including potentially our youth. And this stuff is really dangerous. There was 5 grams of unprocessed fentanyl that was seized as well. And when mixed, that could produce 5,000 street doses. So it can impact a community quite heavily. And the fact that it only takes 2 micrograms or the equivalent of 2 grains of salt to be a lethal dose, I mean, people really need to be aware of this. So that's why we're bringing everybody today to make the public aware of this. And if they come across candy such as this, or formed substance such as this in candy form, not to touch it, phone 911, and if for whatever reason somebody has ingested, seek medical attention immediately, because we want to save as many lives as possible. And this isn't the first time we've seen such of this. This is the first time we've seen it in candy form or designer form, pressed form. But just as recently as last February, one of my colleagues was up here talking to you guys about fentanyl made cookies. So again, we want to draw the public's awareness to this, and that we want to make sure that everybody's safe. I'll take any questions.
Maybe just start off, like you mentioned, how little it would take to be potentially deadly. When it's put into this candy form, are these individual hits? Because that looks like quite a bit. Yeah,
well, again, depending on how it's mixed, you never know how much is in there, right? So a good rule of thumb is not to touch it or ingest it at all. So yeah, it could be potentially very, very lethal to anybody that takes it or even comes into contact with it.
Have there been any reports of any kids coming into contact with this, touching it or ingesting?
Not that I'm aware of. And again, it's the potential of not just the younger population, but anybody. Because this is made into a very enticing different thing. They're trying to make it into a designer type of product. This is not the regular pill form. This is something unique that that hasn't been seen here.
Is police aware of the source of this and where these are coming from?
Well, again, the product is in raw form and it gets mixed, and in this instance, it was pressed into these molds.
Are you aware of how much could be still on the streets or just?
I'm not going to get into that part, just so I don't want to compromise any ongoing investigation or method.
Is it thought that this is linked to gangs or organized crime or anything like that?
Again, I wouldn't want to speculate on that.
You mentioned this as the biggest fentanyl seizure, maybe including the candy-shaped ones and just fentanyl as a whole. Does a seizure like this even make a dent into the issue we're seeing out there in terms of fentanyl?
Well, I think anytime fentanyl is taken off the street, it's a dent. Like, we're taking this product off the street. We're taking a potentially dangerous substance that can kill many people. Like the 5 grams isn't a lot, and that could be made into 5,000 doses. So that's potentially 5,000 people that you could potentially save. So I think anything taken off the street is a dent. And again, I want to stress that, this stuff is very dangerous, and people should be very cautious when, dealing with this stuff.
Just to kind of revisit a similar question and just to clarify, I guess, like one of these little tablets or dinosaur shaped, whatever you want to call it, how much fentanyl is in each one, or has it been determined yet?
Well, again, I'm not going to get into specifics, but if you don't know, you shouldn't take it because of the minimal amount to take can be a lethal dose. You should be very aware and wary of that. So in terms of that, I'm not going to get into the specifics on how they're testing or what's in each individual one. But again, the small amount is very significant.
How concerning is it that, they're taking the shapes of candy, something, young kids might not knowingly, come across and ingest themselves?
Well, it's very concerning. Again, it's a small amount that can be proven lethal. And again, this is why we're bringing this to the table today for not only parents, but everybody, so that everybody's aware that if you don't know where the candy's coming from, it's not commercially packaged, don't take it, because you never know whether it could be a potential dose like this.
Were the 2 individuals that were arrested known to police prior to this?
Yes, they were.
Have you heard anything about like this specific type of drug anywhere else in Canada, or is this the first time that you're aware of it?
It's the first time I'm aware of this type of press in Winnipeg. I wouldn't want to speculate across Canada.
People, watching this or later on reading this, they maybe aren't familiar with fentanyl. So in what forms is it typically found or seized by police?
Again, in this instance, they were pressed into different types of shapes. Anecdotally, they could be in pill form, powder. So, again, those are 2 or 3 different types of forms, but in this instance, it was into this pressed product. And like all the fentanyl that is seized, it does go for testing to determine the quantity. But again, that's a process and that takes time.
Did you say it's the first time you've seen candy, and there's candy?
This is the first time in Winnipeg that we have seen fentanyl being produced in this fashion.
Why candy? Do you know why?
Well, I think it can be enticing. It's designer. It's not your general mill pill or powder. It's meant to entice people to buy that product, and it could be very enticing to your population.
Are there any specific areas of the city you're concerned that this might be more prominent in?
Well, I think it could be prominent in any area. I think we're very vigilant across the city, and when this thing comes up, no matter which part of the city is, we'll investigate.
Is it known how long these designer drugs were being sold for prior to September?
I don't, if you send me an email, I'll be able to get back to you.
So you said you found fentanyl cookies and then fentanyl candies right now. Are you afraid you're going to find more crazy fentanyl forms?
Well, what we found this time was fentanyl pressed in these shapes, such as dinosaurs. I think there's even cactus or pineapple, right? Prior to this, in another investigation, there was fentanyl that was shaped in the form of cookies. But this was solely fentanyl that was pressed into what looked like candy.
How did police become aware of the fentanyl trafficking that was happening?
Well, the drug investigation unit, the enforcement unit, they always have their ears to the ground, and they're always investigating.
Maybe more out of curiosity, I'm seeing firearm-related offenses. Is that related to the taser that was found? Just looking through the list, I'm not seeing anything aside from that.
Yes. Because the taser is a prohibited weapon.
Okay.
Sorry. Maybe not this unit, but I guess are any other units or any officers working with any local groups or organizations to help kind of get the word out and spread awareness in case some people in the community, maybe they don't watch the news or read the news?
Well, I think we all try to, as police officers, and I'm speaking anecdotally, try to promote, be drug-free and stuff like that, and the potential dangers that illicit drugs can cause. And we work, with the city and to try to pass on this information. So yes, as police officers, I can say that, I've gone out and I've talked to people. Specifically, I'm not going to get into specifics, but that's part of our role as police officers.
You mentioned, and sorry, correct me if I'm wrong, but you mentioned that this is the biggest seizure of fentanyl for this unit.
Mhm.
Do you know if, like, the amounts, if you've sort of seen, or if that unit has sort of seen the amounts kind of like increasing over time, or is this sort of quite significant versus what they normally see?
Well, I think anytime you deal with a drug such as fentanyl, it's significant, right? Because the potency is so high, and the potential of a lethal dose is there, and it doesn't take very much to have a lethal dose. In terms of quantities and whether it's going up and down, I don't have information on that. But just for the fact that it's there and out there, and it's an ongoing issue, that's something to be concerned about.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and it's just bringing back to the awareness piece, right? We want to make the public aware and people aware, and if people are ingesting fentanyl, that they don't do the drug alone, as well as make sure you have naloxone with you, just in case you do overdose.
And building off again, you mentioned how it could be a very small dose that could turn out fatal. In terms of what, say, police officers, first responders are seeing when it comes to overdoses, is it safe to say a lot of the times these people who are overdosing weren't exactly aware of how much they were taking based on the unpredictability of it?
Well, yeah, again, like I wouldn't be able to tell how much fentanyl is in one of those designer candies. I'm not sure you could either. So therefore, I mean, there is no safe consumption rate here. It's very dangerous, and that could be potentially lethal, right? So I wouldn't trust anything such as this, because you never know what the potency is and what's in it.
Just to clarify, is WPS aware of any hospitalizations or fatalities directly linked to this strain?
No, we don't speak to that aspect.
Any other questions?
I have one more. It's a bit away from this specific strain of fentanyl, but the premier said he wanted to extend the amount of time highly intoxicated people can be detained in response to the city's meth crisis. What's WPS's response to this, and have you had any conversations with the province?
Well, I think conversation is always good in terms of any type of awareness or treatment for people addicted to illicit drugs is a good thing. I'm not going to speak directly on that. I'll let the province speak to that. Thank you.
Just one more. Do you think younger people are consuming more fentanyl than before? That is why you see.
Well, no. What I said was it's presented in a designer form, which can potentially be more enticing to everybody in the population, and that includes younger people as well as everybody else. So it's not just one subgroup or whether people are taking it more. It's just, this is a new form. This is a new designer form that could entice people to take it. And we're here to say that it's dangerous.
Sorry, I just had one more for you. Do you know the number of individual shapes that we see, like the number of dinosaurs, for example, or however many total number of little doses that were seized? Do you have the?
I don't have the number of total doses.
And was it just, were the ones that were pressed, were they just dinosaurs, or were there other?
The ones that were pressed were primarily in dinosaur form. There were other shapes that were produced. But again, he had the molds, so they had the molds to create a bunch of different ones. These were just the ones that we were able to seize. Thank you.
Thank you.